Cool. Just give everyone a second to join up. Actually, I've just forgotten something at my desk. One moment. Okay. I see we've got some people still joining. I'll give it another 20 seconds or so, and then we will begin.
Welcome to everybody who's already joined.
Yep. Okay, you know what? I think I'll just get started. So I'll just put the slideshow on. You can see the slides okay? Let's begin. Cool. Welcome everyone to another exciting Telnyx webinar, talking about a topic I've done a lot of webinars on, and so has Jonathan, my co-host, on 10DLC, although this time we're also going to be talking about toll-free, because these two things have come up together quite a lot lately. So in terms of agenda, we'll briefly talk about why we're talking about this today. We'll get into Jonathan will get into the specifics of toll-free versus 10DLC, some of the different scenarios, cost of ownership, approval times, etc., how these two compare, before getting into configuration and setup, and some of the general questions that we have around that. And then, of course, Q&A. As usual, if you post questions in the Q&A section, which will probably be in your Zoom bar, it's usually at the bottom or the top of your screen, then we will see if we can cover them as we go, or alternatively, we might leave them till the end. We'll reserve our right to decide based on the content. So just to get started, I'll do a poll and see if I can remember where to find the poll button, because I always get lost on this one, and I've gone way ahead. And it is more. I always get lost trying to find this. Where did I? There it is, polls. So the question is, on a scale of 1 to 5, so at the beginning of the session, how confident do you feel in your understanding of toll-free SMS versus 10DLC SMS registration? So I'll just give you folks a couple of minutes, or not a couple of minutes, a couple of moments rather, to respond, and then we'll see what we get. All right. I'll take that one. See, people are still responding. I'll give it. All right, I'll end the poll now. So let's see. Most of you, actually, this is interesting. A lot of you don't feel very confident at all about this, which I assume is why you're here. You have come to the right place. So I'll check again with you at the end of the session to see how you're feeling. Hopefully there's less people in the one category. Cool. So without any further ado then, let's get into the fun stuff. So I will pass over to, no, I won't actually. I will quickly talk about why we're talking about this webinar. So those of you who've worked with me before know that I keep an eye on what's happening with the industry and with our customers in terms of the different phone number types they're using. And over the past probably 6 months, I've noticed a lot of folks choosing toll-free SMS instead of 10DLC or alongside 10DLC. So the way people are thinking and using SMS, particularly for the US market, is shifting. And then, of course, there's some misconceptions about both of these number types and how to use them. So as usual, we thought we'd put on a quick show to help you avoid common mistakes, questions that people tend to have around this topic, and so on. So now, this time, without further ado, I will pass over to Jonathan, and he's going to talk about in what situation should you choose 10DLC as your number type for SMS.
Everyone so for any, I think looking at the attendees, I've spoken to a bunch of you in the past, but just a quick intro. I run a lot of our compliance for messaging programs, 10DLC and toll-free included. And to just give that a little bit of perspective, 10DLC, which still is the largest sending medium in the industry from what we're seeing, is best for the following. One, if you have modular usage of multiple numbers. Now, what I mean by that is if you have a business with a lot of branches and need to have local numbers wherever you are, you want to use which is the most Americans, it's shown, do prefer to receive messages from the numbers that they know and from area codes which are close to them. So for those, that's like, I would say, the prime 10DLC use case. It's the capacity to break things down into small pieces and to reach out to a local audience as you do so. Now, the next part, I'll start with saying there are a couple of asterisks here, but the 10DLC tends to be more consistent with content regulation, which really is to say, when you get hit with filtering, it doesn't happen quite as often or quite as intensely as it does with, let's say, toll-free. For the primary reason that toll-free and, well, less the point of this conversation, short code tend to be considered more premium routes. Then they're more expensive, and as such, they have different limitations to them, and as such, they tend to be more expensive. So in that regard, 10DLC doesn't get filtered quite as aggressively, or it doesn't get quite as many false positive filters. That isn't to say that it's every medium where everything goes, but there's a higher likelihood of the traffic going through on an approved 10DLC campaign from my experience. Now, another really important 10DLC use case is MMS. 10DLC campaigns, especially in the last 8 months or so, can handle a lot of MMS, especially if you are in the political field or just in a business that primarily relies on MMS to contact your users compared to SMS. The reason I bring this in is even putting aside the cost of the message, which is much higher for MMS on toll-free, 10DLC scales much better with MMS than toll-free on account of the fact that there's only so much toll-free MMS capacity in the industry compared to 10DLC MMS capacity, which is much, much larger. And as mentioned a couple of times, on average, 10DLC is per message significantly cheaper than toll-free. I'm going to stop here for a second. If Simon, if you have anything you want to add in, or if any questions have come from our attendants.
Not yet, but on that note, if you joined a little bit later and you missed my bit about Q&A, remember that you can post Q&A during the session. You just post them in the Q&A button, which is usually down the bottom or the top on your Zoom menu, and we might cover it mid-show, or we might leave it till the end. Bit of a gamble. So I think let's talk about toll-free, which is one of my new favorite interesting areas.
Yeah. Now, we have seen a dramatic increase in toll-free over the last few months, kind of the impetus for this whole webinar. And that's for the simple reason that if you go through the toll-free verification, which is the toll-free equivalent of the 10DLC registration, you will get a lot of very high throughput very quickly. Whereas in 10DLC, you have to go through the brand vetting process, which is an additional cost. Toll-free, once the number is verified, it gets a high throughput. At least at Telnyx, we don't have any additional barriers to entry on that front. Like if you can get through to the toll-free verification process, you will have a very high SMS throughput for a single toll-free number. For that reason, it is a really great thing to be used for, let's say, large corporations. If you have an entity that has one toll-free number or a handful that each have a lot of volume and consistently so, it's a great fit. As mentioned, you have very high throughput on the toll-free number. there isn't a. I think that only the highest rated 10 DLC campaigns can hit the same throughput as a toll-free number. So it can save you a lot of if essentially you just need one number that can send a lot and you don't want to go through the whole process of external brand vetting for 10 DLC where the scores might not be what you're looking for. Toll-free throughput is just kind of universal. And finally, which is, I believe, a feature that's more exclusive to Telnyx, with us, you could, for a single API call, you can effectively submit a toll-free verification, and our system will allow you to will just make the whole process a lot more straightforward for you. There are no extra forms you got to fill out. It all goes through our API.
Cool. Let's crack on then. So this is a really interesting one because a lot of people look at the list price for 10 DLC and toll-free, and then they think, oh, 10 DLC, it must be cheaper. But it's a bit more nuanced. So the other thing also people talk a lot about is approval times. They assume that toll-free, which is somewhat true in the past, was significantly slower. But anyway, I'll let Jono talk to this because I think it's quite an interesting area.
Yeah, so the list rate for 10 DLC and toll-free, as you can see, it's $4 per SMS for 10 DLC, and it's $5.55 for toll-free. So just on the baseline, you are paying a good chunk more per message for toll-free. However, as this nice little box shows us, you don't pay for verification or registration when you go through toll-free. Let's say when you start a 10 DLC, the process for 10 DLC, you got to pay the brand registration. On top of that, you got to pay the campaign fee, which you got to pay for 3 months in advance, and then continue to pay every month moving forward. And there is the downstream carrier vetting fee of $15 per campaign. So put together, you have you have a much higher upfront cost to set up 10 DLC. It does have a lower cost per message after that, and obviously, if you're contracted with Telnyx, these rates are different. 10 DLC approval, it did slump for a little bit, but we are seeing speeds coming back to very fast turnarounds, around 2 to 3 business days. Toll-free used to be measured in weeks, or sometimes over a month, but it's been much better the last 6 months. So on average, we're seeing 6 business days for a turnaround. But but at times it can be faster. All of which is to say, there are smaller businesses or entities that could make use of a toll-free number with less hassle, let's say, than a 10 DLC customer, especially if they essentially don't have the tech resources or the desire to set up a whole bunch of different brands and campaigns and just want the most straightforward path possible to them.
Cool. A related question. I know we're not really talking about this topic today, but I often get people asking me, well, what about shortcode?
Sure. So shortcodes have the highest throughput per any delivery method for A2P messaging. And they have the highest deliverability. However, the cost per message on average sits somewhere between 10 DLC and toll-free, but the upfront cost is much higher. It's on average $1,000 a month for a random shortcode and $1,500 a month for a vanity code. So for those folks who want a specific shortcode for their business, and the start and getting it up the ground can get, on a fast turnaround, it's 3 or 4 weeks. On a long turnaround, it can be, 6 weeks and higher.
Right.
Because this requires a lot of manual work on the carrier end, and there's a lot of scrutiny that you have to get past in order to be able to have a shortcode. It's the kind of the Cadillac of all messaging services. So you only get on there if you can be a very, very good actor and can prove it.
I sometimes use the analogy of like a like a race car or something. You have to kind of get through a bunch of training in order to prove you can handle it. All right, so we're down to Q&A and oh, I've got a question already. Since we talked about short codes, someone just asked me before we get into your questions, Jono, can you confirm that short code sharing is no longer allowed?
Short code sharing is no longer allowed. It has not been allowed for a few years now. The one exception to this is emergency use cases, which if you are related to an emergency use case, you already know this. It's not there isn't a lot of gray space on that one.
Right. Is this when you share a short code with another company or?
No, it's so effectively, much like a 10DLC brand, a short code it can do sending for only one entity. A shared short code means that you have multiple entities sending on the same short code,
Right.
which for many reasons is no longer allowed.
Okay, I see. Cool. So configuration and setup FAQ. So this is just basically the types of questions that that folks like Jono get every week. So yeah, we'll go. So Jono, should I use managed accounts for my clients or not? I think perhaps another way of putting this is when should I set up? I think I'm thinking of the classic use case here is like you're a software company or you're a services company and you have multiple customers who you're sending messages on behalf of, you know, client A, client B, client C. Like when should they use managed accounts versus not?
So by and large, unless you are in a situation where the customer needs to have access to the Telnyx portal outside of like directly, then managed accounts is not the option I would go with. So long as you can set up different messaging profiles per each one of your customers, which is the standard that the majority of our customer base uses, then that should work perfectly fine for you. You would have a customer per messaging profile, and then and you can very easily silo out each one to its own campaign or toll free.
Yeah. Should I get brand vetting for 10DLC? This is a classic.
It is a classic. If you want any throughput above the basic low volume throughput, then yes, you will have to get a third-party brand vetting with Aegis, WMC, or if you are in the political field, campaign verified.
Cool. While we're on the topic of 10DLC specifically, someone's just posted a question. Do we need to create a campaign every time we want to send bulk messages to the US?
So you only effectively need to create the branded campaign once. Obviously, there are some variations based on use case, but when you create a campaign, it should have the samples, which act as templates for what kind of traffic you're going to send. And you also choose a use case like account notifications, marketing, two-factor authentication. So long as what you're sending fits within the categories of what you initially set up the 10DLC campaign, you can keep sending traffic under the one campaign. Now, this is just an unfortunate industry problem that the 10DLC initiative called campaigns. There's a 10DLC campaign, and then there is a messaging campaign, which is a bulk of messages which you send in one go. Unfortunate bit of nomenclature, but so long as the traffic you are sending fits within the confines of the 10DLC campaign you initially registered, you only would need the one. I hope that answers the question. If feel free to drop in another note if it did not.
Cool. Volume limits on toll-free versus 10DLC. I mean, we did a whole webinar on this, but
yeah, and you can also find this information in our website. But in short, a toll-free number has a standard throughput, if I'm mistaken, of up to 1,200 messages a minute per number. Now, a 10DLC number on the low throughputs has a lot less than that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you would be limited to about 150 messages a minute a number. Now that can go up as you vet the brand, which in turn will increase the throughput which the campaign possesses. And also it will increase the T-Mobile global limit for the brand, which is where, from my experience, most people really need the score. Because let's say you have a score of a non-vetted brand, you will only be able to send 2,000 messages a day from the brand towards T-Mobile, which means even if you have multiple campaigns under the one brand, you will only be able to send 2,000 messages a day to T-Mobile destinations, which for anybody who is sending a significant amount of traffic, that's nothing.
Again, this could probably be a whole other webinar, but how do you submit a verification request?
You would go into our mission control portal. You would go to the messaging section and then to the toll-free beta. Then, so long as you already own a toll-free number that is messaging capable, you should be able to submit a verification request.
We still refer to it as a toll-free beta.
I think it still shows as beta in the portal, but I could be mistaken.
We're probably being like Google or some of those other companies because it's
endlessly
been for like a year.
The product is definitely does not behave as if it's a beta product.
Yeah, it's working very well. Okay, I'm gonna ask you folks again how you're feeling based on your knowledge. So let me run the poll because this time I've figured out where the poll button actually is. Poll 2. Basically the same question again. How do you feel? How confident do you feel? Do you feel amazing? Do you feel not amazing? Some of you I see are supremely confident, which is great.
Do you want to ask me a bunch of questions and then answer the poll? Feel free.
Well, that's what I'm partly running the poll for because I want to see who's not feeling awesome, and then hopefully they can tell us what's missing. I'll just give this another couple of moments, and then we'll call it in. All right, let's go. And so from what I can see, most of you are feeling pretty good, which is great. But I see there's at least a few people who are feeling like a 3. Now is your chance to tell us. You can actually post it. You can post it in the question section. It doesn't have to be a question. It could be a statement. We'll see if we can answer it. Which is what is it that's for those, especially for those of you who are a 3, what is it that you don't know, that you feel that you would, if you knew it, you might feel like a 5. Maybe they don't know what they don't know, which could also be a response.
And if you would rather have this conversation on a more one-on-one basis with myself and my team, you'll have our team email at the end of this meeting, which is 10dlcquestions@telnyx.com. And so long as we have time available, we're always happy to jump on one-on-ones with whoever just wants to talk it out. I know that chat might not always be the best medium, so we're here and we'll have to set up a meeting entirely free of charge.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, John, is there any other like questions that you often get from people or like misconceptions around?
I would say a couple of things to be aware of is that you should definitely be registering, or because
yeah, that's a good one.
I'm sure anybody who's dealt with unregistered traffic has seen that the prices get more expensive for it. Pass-through fees, the T-Mobile starting on June 1st are going to start increasing their pass-through fees every 2 months until the end of the year. And I would say if you are holding off from registering for one reason or another, I would highly recommend that you discard those reasons and start registering, and we're happy to walk you through it. Toll-free, there isn't the unverified, which is the toll-free equivalent of unregistered, does not exist anymore. So you must verify. Like the wilderness has been tamed, and the carriers have set out the official routes by which they want this to work, and we all must play along with that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I remember talking about this a year ago and saying to people, we think that you're going to have to register. At some point, they're just going to say, if you don't register, you can't send anything, and that's now going to happen. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So if you haven't registered, I know there are still a few companies who are holding out. I would echo Jonathan and please register, because if you don't, it's not going to be
And
fun.
yeah, and effectively, pretty much out of every, like, with a couple of small exceptions, every use case can be registered unless you are, in clear violation of the carrier's AUP, which is an unfortunate position to be in. You should be able to register your traffic or get it verified, and on the long term, you will be very thankful that you did.
Right. Oh, actually, we do have. I was just about to go to the more questions section, but we have a question a little bit more complicated. I have more than 50 customers using SMS or MMS for communication with their drivers or contractors. I did not register 10DLC yet. Naughty, naughty. It is still a complicated process. I agree. Is there any chance to have some simple manual how to do that?
Well, I know, I think, Simon, we just put together a new guide online for this, didn't we?
Yes, we did. In fact, I was gonna show that.
And and Gochko, you and I have spoken previously. Feel free to email me, and I'm happy to set up a meeting to go over any questions you might have.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. So myself, Jonathan, and one of our writers, we sat down together and we wrote a comprehensive guide for how to. I'm not sure if this particular questioner is from a software services company background, but if you are, this guide is literally written for you. So it's everything you need to know about setting up SMS or MMS for a situation where you have sub accounts or sub accounts where you have end users or end clients who are sending SMS or MMS. It's a really detailed guide, and we cover everything from not just registration, but also how you should configure your account, what sort of costs you might have to factor in different processes and so on. So that's on tlyx.co/ISV-SMS. And yeah, and I think the official term on our website, it's like 10DLC and toll-free ISV guide or something like that. ISV standing for Independent Software Vendor. And of course, you can email Jonathan. He's got his email there and under his up above his head there. And you can also email Jonathan and his team on 10dlcquestions@telnyx.com. Or failing all of that, you can just go to the Telnyx website and fill out the contact us form. And someone somewhere at Telnyx will be more than happy to help. So I don't think I've got any other questions, unless someone is there any deadline for 10DLC registration? Oh, I love this question. Okay, wow. Okay, now you guys are throwing questions at me. Is there any deadline for 10DLC registration? Should I tell them, Jonathan? I think I should.
There's going to be announcements coming out, and there's a few details that are still being worked out. An announcement will be coming out in the next month. But if you intend to register for 10DLC, do it before the end of the year.
Yeah. There's something happening later this year is the short answer, and we'll be doing an announcement about it probably in 2 or 3 weeks. We'll be publishing a lot of details around that. So there's definitely time, but yeah, as we've said several times, you do need to start thinking about, not even thinking about, you need to start registering. It only takes, in theory, it only takes 3 days. And it will put you in a good place. So I'll just respond to that. Does the guide break down the volume amounts of text per month when you factor in the registration monthly fees for a user with 4K messages or less? I love this question because I was asking this when we were writing it. So they're asking, is there a break? I'm guessing what the question is really about. Is there like a break point where 10DLC becomes more cost effective than toll-free because of the registration costs?
So at list rates, putting aside the carrier pass-through fees, for 4,000 messages a month, it will cost you $16. Let's say after about 7-8 months, it should about even out for you, and then remain more cheaper on 10DLC moving forward.
Yeah. So we did actually, to the person who asked that question, I did actually debate whether or not we should put a hard number to aim for, but as Jonathan points out, it really varies a lot depending on your time frame. like if you're sending, and how much you're sending and so on. But definitely if you're sending more than a few thousand, as you've put in the question, then yeah, 10DLC can be more cost effective. There's other benefits to 10DLC versus toll-free as well. I know one thing also we didn't talk about that's a benefit of toll-free is that toll-free has read receipts. Well, it has read receipts for the person's delivery receipts for the handset, not read receipts. So when it arrives on the person's phone, you'll actually get that data for toll-free, whereas for 10DLC, you only get that it's being transmitted to the handset, which are two slightly different things. Is that right? I think it is. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So where can we see the breakdown? So go have a look at the guide, and also you're welcome to email in comments or feedback if you think we should have something else in the guide. It looks like we've hit time, and I don't have any other questions unless someone decides to throw another one at me. So yeah, again, if you have more questions, 10DLC questions at telnyx.com. The guide, highly recommend having a look if it fits your use case. You're a software or a services company and you have end users who send SMS themselves. That's tlyx.co/ISV SMS. And as always, if you go to telnyx.com/contact us, you can get more information. Someone's asking the reseller price per SMS or MMS. You can definitely negotiate if you're sending in bulk. I believe, Jonathan, you can negotiate a different agreement if you're sending like a very large amount and it's over and you're doing
Yes,
it.
it's especially if you contract the customer for your contract, and at that point, reach out to your representative and we can talk about it.
Yeah. So that question about reseller price, definitely telnyx.com/contact us or even email Jonathan and see if he can sort you out. Cool. So I think that's everything. Thanks again to everyone for attending. Thank you to Jonathan for presenting, and I will see you all at the next webinar.
You all have a good day.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.